3 more short Dragon Ball What If requests here. The first request comes from Dylan on What If Appule came to Earth instead of Raditz. Here, Raditz brings up his curiosity about Kakaroto's status, but Vegeta shuts down the idea of going to Earth as a waste of time. Some of Frieza's soldiers listen in though, and Appule decides getting a new world for Frieza to sell is better than nothing. Being far stronger than Raditz and having no similar weakness, Appule has no difficulty against the Dragon team and quickly wipes them out before focusing on civilization. It's when he tries to destroy cities though that he takes note of the strange ability Earthlings have to make objects seemingly appear out of nowhere, and takes time to learn what capsules are before relaying this information to Zarbon to see what his advice is. Zarbon is impressed at this technology and tells Appule to keep the technological geniuses of Earth alive, but cull the less useful citizens, with Earth quickly becoming a technocracy. Putting Gero into a position of power gives them the opportunity to create the artificial humans quicker than usual, while manufacturing less impressive weaponry for Frieza as a front. Knowing he can't keep the act up for long though, he chooses to put his efforts into having 13, 14, and 15 fulfill his desires, with them being unleashed to rebel in age 762. This insolence would convince Frieza to go there personally when seeing Earth as a valuable territory, and be defeated by the trio, as Gero then puts his goals of domination on a wider scale into action, while creating 16 and chooses to have him act as a defense unit to protect Earth, while 13's group take Frieza's territory. This brings Cold to Earth, with his attempts to destroy it from space being countered, and him being crushed once arriving. In this technocracy though, Bulma has been spared, with her putting immediate efforts into creating a time machine. The focus Appule had on providing the geniuses with materials causes her to work far quick on it, and decides to go back to age 760 and give the Dragon team a warning about the future. They perform Shugyo diligently, with Piccolo and the Earthlings ending up about as strong as when facing Nappa, Goku making up for not having been tutored by Kaio when thinking of his time under Popo, and requesting his world's Bulma create a gravity room. Appule is defeated by Goku, with Zarbon assuming the Saiyans underestimated Earth's strength when sending a baby there, and that it's simply a world of brutes with no value to pursue. This still doesn't aid the original timeline, with future Bulma then using the Dragon Balls to get into Gero's lab and assassinate him, before looking at his research notes to figure out how the shutdown devices work. Though her efforts are able to stop models 13 to 16, 17 and 18 are of a completely different design, with Gero using them to foil Bulma's plans. However, Gero being elated at crushing the rebel gives 17 the opportunity to steal his remote and dispose of Gero, before boredom and having found fun in eliminating Bulma causes the twins to act as their future selves would normally, until eventually being absorbed by Cell, who goes on to venture space, until being approached by Shin. Though he doesn't want to team up with Cell, Shin sees him as the only strong person to oppose Babidi's minions, while Shin faces the Madoshi himself. Going through using the Zetor sword has Cell unleash Rodai Kaioshin, but the latter doesn't tell Cell he can unleash his potential, when knowing how Babidi's ambitions would be far more manageable than an unstoppable Cell. Dabura is easily defeated, and with Cell left to do as he pleases, Shin is told of both the Potara and his ancestor's ability, which brings Kibito-Shin to the level where he can put down Cell. Meanwhile, for the other timeline, Babidi is unopposed, with the Dragon team being far too underprepared for him, and he eventually succeeds in awakening Boo. In Super's continuity for the Babidi timeline, Granola eventually wishes to become the strongest in the universe and liberates it from Boo and the Heaters, whereas he only wishes to have his full potential unleashed to overthrow the latter in the Kibito-Shin timeline. For GT and both though, neither are prepared for Baby when he's unleashed, with him having no challenge in achieving his goals. It's here we see the huge domino effect that even Appule could accomplish, showing his potential importance is more than a meme. The next one is from Chaos Catriano 7, on what if Yamcha trained under Muten Roshi earlier. The most logical point point being joining Goku immediately after the events at Pilaf's castle, when desiring to not be left behind. Kame Sennin is unwilling to teach him until Bulma reminds him she'd make constant visits, at which point he's all for it. Kuririn joining them as the three students perform Shugyo together. Having managed to catch up to Kuririn at the 22nd Tenkaichi Budokai, despite lagging far behind 3 years earlier, Yamcha remains stronger than Kuririn and stays only a slight step behind Goku, with him being able to pressure Jackie Chun enough for him to put in some effort to defeat him. It's after the Budokai that he takes time to be with Bulma at the western capital, his recent arrival there not having him gain the attention that would make Bulma jealous. As such, she doesn't desire to go find the Dragon Balls with Goku, who instead goes with Kuririn and Kame Sennin, who isn't as willing to stay at home without the microband. General Blue doesn't target Kame House when finding lunch unassuming, but that just adds to the booby trap casualties. Muten Roshi's techniques such as the Bankoku Bukurisho defeat Blue after he uses his psychic eyes on Kuririn, with the trio escaping the pirate cave, whereas Blue is incapable of doing so. No damage to the Dragon Radar, and Blue not getting it causes two changes, being Goku immediately goes to Kaninto, and Colonel Violet takes long enough searching for the Dragon Ball that Goku encounters her and takes it after defeating the Red Ribbon Army. Yamcha is unable to defeat Mummy as usual, which, along with how much his peer has grown in little time, motivates him further to hone his skills under Roshi. He becomes far stronger than usual by the time of the 22nd Tenkaichi Budokai, around the same level as Jackie Chun, causing Ten Shinhan to put in far more effort to beat him, without an opportunity to break his leg, and the capability of those embodying the Kame-sen Ryu ideals, making him conflicted even more than normal, to the point he abandons Surusenin's ideology very early into his fight with Goku. The events with Piccolo Daimao occur, with the main difference being Yamcha is able to join Roshi and the others, but is knocked out with sleeping gas like Ten Shinhan, before training to master the Mafuba alongside him. Though not talented enough to pick it up as quickly as Ten, he joins him at King Castle, but their combined efforts still aren't enough to stop Drum, with events going the same as usual. Despite Yamcha being far stronger than usual, it's not by enough to change the course of events from here on, with the constant escalation of new threats beyond a few minor ones, such as maybe defeating Zaoyogi in Super with Ten Shinhan's help. Nor would his relationship history with Bulma change much, with his dedication to Shugyo still not decreasing his popularity with the ladies once things calmed down enough for them to go back home, bringing things down a familiar route. It's here that we see, despite Yamcha being able to progress more, his character flaws and the general escalation of the series would limit how much of an impact he'd have later on. Finally, from Evan Bonkowski, what if Dende became Earth's Kami sooner? Here, aware of how integral the Dragon Balls are and Kami's age, Dende has Muri tutor him on all he needs to master his Dragon Clan skills rigorously while they're on Earth, with him choosing to stay after those 260 days are up, in order to succeed the current Kami if need be. Kami quickly grants him control over the Dragon Balls, with him then upgrading them to grant 3 wishes. The main change here is that, even with Pilaf making his wish, there's 2 more left, with Gohan wishing for the duo who have wiped out the Dragon Team to be transported into the sun, before the 3rd wish takes Gohan to New Namek, where the others are revived. Piccolo immediately knows it's time to fuse with Kami, with Vegeta training hard as to not be helpless again, and even Gohan doing so while balancing his studies, when having been the last hope to save the Earth. A lack of Goten changes Trunks' personality, with him becoming more of a spoiled rich kid, while also not utilising his potential as well as normal, not unlocking Super Saiyan at an early age, but still wishing to spar with his father to show his superiority to others, aside from Trunks not being able to pull off the Mighty Mask disguise. Events go the same until Dabura proves far beyond everyone's imagination, with Goku immediately choosing to go into the Room of Spirit and Time with Gohan, having mastered Super Saiyan in the other world, but no further. Goku teaches Gohan how to become one, before their sparring allows Goku Goku to break beyond it, with him defeating Dabra and stopping Babidi before teaching everyone the fusion dance and returning to Otherworld. Meanwhile, Mr. Satan wins the Battle Royale legitimately, but Gohan defeats him in the next Budokai to support his family. For Super, Vegeta having not become considered pure of heart without the events of the Cell game or his realizations in the Buu arc, prevent Beerus from having the Super Saiyan God dream as he quickly goes back to sleep. As such, nobody is prepared to face Frieza, who effortlessly wipes out the Dragon Team and conquers Earth while waiting for the Dragon Balls to reactivate, eventually attaining immortality, before destroying Earth and Majin Buu, who's unsealed from the impact. Moro has his magic unsealed from this, though his plans occurring around 5 years later than normal, causes Granola to first wish to become the strongest in the universe to overthrow the Heaters, and tries to overthrow Frieza, but can't counter his immortality. Moro then meeting the same fate. In GT, Baby's development goes undisturbed, with Shin having Kibito bring Gohan and Vegeta to the Kaioshinkai, with the Zetor Sword being their best hope. This leads to them getting their potential unleashed, and be given the Potara, with Vegeta having to put aside his pride, as their Potara fusion manages to overcome Baby's perfect form. With this, the universe will remain safe, so long as the Dragon Balls don't need to be used again. It's here we see how things would be if the conveniences of the Dragon Balls weren't interrupted by the events that led to the Cell Arc's time travel. A temporary aid, not providing the stability that would come from Goku's presence, or passing on of his ideals, as the Dragon Ball's existence came to solidify Kami's fear on them being over-relied on, rather than being a reward for the worthy. Thank you if having watched through these what ifs. Comment your own requests, subscribe to keep updated, and check out these older ones. With that, I'll see you next time.